Classic Rock Beagle.
You know the drill. It's me, Dobbs. I finally got my haircut. My first haircut in 6 years and it's the worst haircut I've ever had. But there comes an age when long hair just doesn't work for a guy. I got tired of looking across between Doc Brown and that aliens guy. And then the pandemic happened, so I had to wait. While I was there, I got in a fight with my beautician. No, beautician, barber. Well, that's unusually supportive of you, Mose. True, but I still need cheering up. Now you're talking. That might just do the trick. I don't know about that, Moser. That keyboardist from Sparks has the stage presence of the master from Manos. But I got a better idea. 15 better ideas, actually. Today we're going to review the best songs from my favorite decade in music, the 1970s. The rules. The song must have been released for the first time as a single or on an album between January 1st, 1970 and December 31st, 1979. One song per artist. Here are the honorable mentions.
Todd in the Shadows said of Baba O'Reilly,
"What makes you think you have the right to rip off Baba O'Reilly, a song you can make a case for actually being the best song ever?"
Well, Moser and I submitted his thesis to rigorous scientific examination. While it's not number one, it did make honorable mention in the toughest best of the decade list. No shame in that. Do you want to know how much of a disappointment the Get Back sessions were? They called the album Let It Be, almost as a gesture to just walk away from the project. But much of the resulting music was amazing. Based on my love for the song over the decades, this is low. Call this my number 11 song. But the dynamic shifts and the skill and musicianship throughout, along with the psychedelic ending with the distorted harmonica, win me. I'm writing two versions of this review depending on whether it gets copyright blocked. This band blocked our first video in Germany for using one word of their song. I'll just use this review. Suck it, Don Henley. I mentioned in the 80s review that I latched on to Kate Bush through a parody. This was the song that was parodied. It is a delightful melody about maybe the most horrifying story I've ever heard. David Gilmour guitar solo.
And those are our honorable mentions, with a quick reference to our last three cuts. Peg by Steely Dan, Baker Street by Jerry Rafferty, and Layla by Derek and the Dominoes. Now for... Oh, come on. The 1970s were really tough. It almost made it. Moser, why are you reading me the riot act? Anyways, the top 10 songs of the 70s.
So, how do you go from this to this? You go through R&B. In the mid-70s, the Bee Gees were not doing very well. 1974's Mr. Natural flopped everywhere but their adopted home, Australia. Normally, the worst thing you can do at that point is to completely change things up and act as if you were a new act entirely. That's usually the act of desperation that signals the end of your career. Ahem. But the Bee Gees already had a deep-set love for American R&B and were not only credible as R&B artists, but they were actually good at it. I mean, really good.
So here I am thinking the lead singer is some black guy with a large afro, wearing spandex, who knows how to dance, that look like Michael Jackson. Instead, it's this dude who come out here looking like Jesus.
Enter 1975's Main Course, which returned them to stardom in their new style. Their second single off Main Course was Nights on Broadway, which reached number 7 in the US and number 2 in Canada. As good as the Bee Gees' harmonies are, they're not the best individual singers. A new wrinkle was added here on this song. It is actually Morris Gibb adding the falsetto flourishes that would become their trademark. It was a nice touch on Nights, though one that I thought that they would overdo in their disco years. It helped their branding, so there's that. Songs like You Should Be Dancing, Jive Talkin', and of course Stayin' Alive are more energetic. For such a slow song though, it does have a bit of bounce. The song slows down just a bit on the bridge. The form was basic but well executed. The contrasting bridge was a very good effect. Now we come to the disco era Bee Gees' main strength. There's just the right mix of funky, smooth, and rough. This would be the hallmark of the band from main course through the rest of the decade. After the Bee Gees expended their depressing pop song card, they changed direction lyrically as well as musically. A good move, but their lyrics from that point can pretty much be ignored. The first song they wrote with their new direction was Jive Talkin'. They had no idea when they wrote it that Jive Talkin' means to speak deceitfully.
Oh, stewardess, I speak jive.
Oh, good.
To this day, the Bee Gees are best known for the disco years. Before they went disco, they worked their way through R&B. This was a good move for them. I could have picked a few Bee Gees songs here, but I went with Nights on Broadway. It is a dynamite song. Next. After a difficult tour for the Houses of the Holy album, Robert Plant took some time off to rehab his voice, and John Paul Jones to rehab his ego. When they went into the studio, it was just Jimmy Page and John Bonham jamming for a few weeks before they broke to reconvene in January. Still, that half of Led Zeppelin spent those weeks putting the skeleton of our number 9 song together. Time very well spent, if you ask me. Kashmir is mostly written by Page and Bonham, leaving Plant to write the melodic line on a finished product. As such, the line itself wasn't all that interesting, but Plant's delivery was beyond words, as usual. Yeah, you have to go back to the 70s to get some prime syncopation in your rock music. Hell, there was barely any syncopation left in jazz by this point. On the verses, Bonham is playing 4/4 while Page and Jones are playing 9/8. Simply amazing. The song is very well organized, with parts that fit well together. Nothing unusual, actually. Kashmir, the song that imitates nothing and cannot be duplicated unless you're directly ripping it off. I mean sampled. One of the most unique sounds in the history of classic rock. Page and Bonham wrote it, Plant sung it, but do not sleep on Jonesy's string arrangements. It's amazing. It's all amazing. The lyrics were inspired by Lonesome Drive Through Morocco. They're very well executed, full of imagery. I get more of a vibe of a mystical journey rather than a spiritual one here. It is endlessly interesting and well crafted. Kashmir is the first song that I gave our shiny new perfect category to. It's at number 9. What can I say? Kashmir is far out, man. Next. Coming into 1974's Caribou, Elton John was coming off his most successful album, which went to number 1 in the US, the UK, Canada, and Australia. No pressure, Reg. Caribou turned out to be less successful. Still going number one in each of those countries, but going only 2 times platinum in the US and gold in Britain. Its lead single and biggest hit was our number 8 song. In my opinion, Elton John is overrated in some circles and underrated in others. He's a very unique and passionate singer. As an aside, I know he likes his new voice better. He's entitled to his opinion, but he's wrong. He had such a great voice in the 70s. I digress. Once I was told that my voice sounded like his. I disagree, but I really take that as a compliment. Anyways, Elton John's vulnerable, passionate delivery fits this song so perfectly. Nothing wrong, nothing special. The energy comes from elsewhere on this tune. Mostly the orchestration and the vocal. There is quite a beautiful build to the song during the chorus, and a great cohesiveness to the song throughout. It's perfectly put together. Oh, the 70s sure had a revelation in timbre, didn't it? It was the meeting place of improved recording technology and old-school musical sensibilities. It was tech serving the music rather than directing it. That would change with the synth revolution in the last part of the decade. The execution of Elton's already great band is augmented by backing vocals from Beach Boys, Bruce Johnston, and especially Carl Wilson. And a couple other people, including this broad Tony Tennille. I hope that's the last time I mention her name in a best of list. To condense the essence of the song into 4 words, it would be that. One of the worst sentiments of a song, by the way, but wasn't that what the Phantom of the Opera was about? It does help to go over that sentiment occasionally because we're all assholes from time to time, and would also be complete assholes if we found ourselves in different circumstances. But this sentiment is a hard one to pull off because you have to shine the light both on the extent of the assholery and the personal despair the asshole finds himself in, often due to his own choices. Lyricist Bernie Taupin pulls this out really well, and Elton John makes you feel the despair in his voice. Well done. Elton John is inconsistent with me, but when he's good, it can be very, very good. Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me is groovy. Next. Like Elton John, Yes was coming off their most successful album prior to releasing the song on our list. What is different is that Close to the Edge was not released as a single. Edge clocks in at 18 minutes 40 seconds, which qualifies as a commercial jingle for Yes at this point in their careers. However, long songs aren't usually made into singles. The longest song ever to make Billboard's top 10 was this. And November Rain is less than half as long as Close to the Edge, but I digress. And the vocal lines are very good, and John's delivery is perfectly Anderson. It deserves a A-. But you'll see the strength of the song when we get an A+.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Reviewing this song is going to be the death of me, I swear.
Still, much to learn.
There are a lot more than 6 tempos in this song, and don't get me started on the time signature changes. Absolutely brilliant. Squire and Bruford in the second verse are having fun, and it sounds offbeat but actually brings out the correct rhythm. Oh, they're brilliant throughout the song. Yeah, the 70s are my decade. By a lot. There are dozens of 70s songs that I love. There are 6 songs above this one. If you count additional songs by Pink Floyd and Fleetwood Mac, locked out because of the 1 song per artist rule, this song would not have made the top 10 and might have made the honorable mention. The form on this song is not only the best form in rock history, but it is the highest mark of any 70s song in any category. When I intently listen to this song, it still leaves me speechless. It's amazing how the pieces are put together. More than any song I've ever heard, Close to the Edge takes you on a journey musically. For other music that does at this level, we're talking Beethoven. With all respect to Firth of Fifth, or our number 5 song, this is the song that I would show classical snobs to show them the merits of rock on terms that they would understand. The music was well delivered. The right sounds were made given the technology available to them at the time. Other than Rick Wakeman's church organ solo, there's nothing to blow one away with the timbre. Don't waste your time. John Anderson paints pretty abstract pictures with his lyrics as always. But it's complete gibberish. Yes has several prog masterpieces in their catalog, and because I blindly follow whatever's in fashion, I've got Close to the Edge as off the chain. Next.
A boy's born in hot-time Mississippi, surrounded by for one that ain't so pretty.
Stevie Wonder Morris, aka Stevie Wonder, broke out as a 12-year-old wonderkind in 1963. He left Motown in 1971 and released an independent album, Where I'm Coming From. He returned to Motown in 1972 with the stipulation that he maintained complete control over his music. The result of the combination of unfettered genius and Motown's resources is what's now called Stevie's Classic Period, which included 5 albums from 1972 through 1976, the middle of which was Intervisions. Living for the City was the second single off Intervisions. The song won multiple Grammys and the prestigious number 6 position on this list. Damn, son. I'm sure he would appreciate me using this meme for him, but I digress. That is one awesome vocal line with maybe Stevie's best vocal performance. Maybe. Amazing. Stevie's song is bolstered by the rhythm section of bassist Stevie Wonder and drummer Stevie Wonder. Wow. He sure did that one-man band thing pretty well, didn't he? Maybe there is hope for me yet. Now all I need is talent. The verses are well put together and broken up by, with all due respect to Tony Banks, the mother of all synth riffs. And then the city scenes are chilling. When I placed Sia number 1 in the 2000s, I said this.
There's a lot on Where I Belong compared to classic Stevie Wonder. I think the sound most of all is an apt comparison between the two.
Of course I was talking about his classic period. Now that's quite a statement that generic 5 and dime Stevie ended up number 1 for the 2000s, while brand name Stevie's number 6 in the 70s. It's a tight arrangement with a beautiful sound, and then, that synth matched with the vocal for the riff. That raises the B plus to A minus. Now, I'm a city kid. I grew up in Buffalo, New York. I went to grammar school at Old School 6 on Hickory and South Division. I went to South Park High School. I lived in cities 48 of my 52 years. Living for the city does not relate my city experience. However, it has been the experience of many people I've known over the decades, including some close friends. And I'm so glad when this experience is vividly portrayed. Thank you, Stevie. I loves me some Stevie Wonder, especially his classic period. This song is pure essence of Stevie, and I love that synth riff. Living for the City is Out of Sight. Next.
It's okay there, Alexa. Not now. Oh, Moser, I'm trying to sleep here. We're only halfway through the review.
of you most every day. To rest in peace is the only peace for your soul. Your spirit sees, though your body lies so cold. They say in a way if you pray that it's pain that you belong, but I need to feed on that newfound strength to go on.
I hate the fucking Eagles.